Now let's talk politics this morning. Early voting is underway here in Tennessee for the GOP Super Tuesday primary. Still no real clear leader in this GOP race for the presidential nomination. And this morning, our political commentator, Luke Vargas, who's been covering the youth vote, as well as going in and checking out what's happening among the conservative movement on the scene, joins us live from New York City with the race to the White House. And he's got a good blazer on this morning. Luke, good morning to you.
Good morning, Greg.
Finally got a chance to see you in the flesh over via television. You've been following the candidates. Last week there was a CPAC. What came out of CPAC? Apparently Romney got a little bit of love.
A little bit of love, not too much. There were two things I was looking for going into CPAC. The first was, can I hear anything with the similar to a reform agenda from the conservatives, something that they can put up against Barack Obama in the fall? And the second is, can Mitt Romney prove to voters that he's willing to listen, put his ear to the ground at CPAC, listen to what they have to say, and perhaps incorporate some of that agenda into his platform going forward? I'm not sure he did that.
And that's one of the big issues among the GOP leaders. They've been saying, stop fighting each other, obey the Reagan principle, do not speak ill of a conservative, attack the opponent. Are they going to be able to come out with some type of agenda to go forward against the president?
I think they inevitably will. The question is when. There were a few panels at CPAC and a few speakers. One of them was John Bolton. This was George W. Bush's ambassador to the United Nations. He gave a speech entitled, "What Would a Ronald Reagan Foreign Policy Look Like in 2012?" And unfortunately, I think John Bolton, like a few other people at CPAC, had his experience squandered. He was basically used as a mouthpiece to attack the president instead of offering up any concrete ideas that the candidates could run with going forward.
Are the conservatives and your Republican contacts and sources, are they telling you they're concerned that they have been unable to find a clear front runner at this point?
I think there is growing concern. But CPAC put up a different message. Their keynote speaker this past weekend was Sarah Palin, who, after the results of the straw poll were announced with Mitt Romney winning by a very small margin, there was some grumbling in the ballroom. People were a little concerned about what the implications on the race would be from Romney's victory. And Sarah Palin entered the room and tried to soothe everyone's concern and said basically this competition is making all the candidates stronger, and that the longer we fight, the stronger our eventual nominee will be at the end of the day. So people left the ballroom patting themselves on the back, but I'm not really sure they earned it necessarily.
You do a particularly excellent job of looking at the next generation of voters, the youth vote, and you found out that students accounted for half of the attendees at this conference. What does that exactly mean now for the GOP, the conservative movement, moving forward as we get into the elections?
It's an impressive statistic, and I think it bears very well for conservatives going forward. We spoke about this same issue 4 years ago, and back then you could just pick up very faint clues that the Republican answer to Barack Obama and Democratic youth involvement was maturing. It's definitely more mature this year. I went to a job fair, a job and internship fair for young conservatives, and I spoke with one recruiter who said they're looking for 3 unpaid internships. And the applicant pool this year, instead of being freshmen and sophomore undergraduates, 1/3 of them were law school graduates. So there's a very talented class of young conservatives coming up through the ranks. And this goes beyond just the recession and people looking for jobs. Another employer said, we no longer have to just hire the most technically proficient writers. We can find young conservatives who can articulate their passions for conservative ideals. They can be the people we hire. That has a very long-term positive benefit for conservatives.
All right, this conservative movement now planting seeds and starting to see them blossom. All right, Luke Vargas live in New York City. Hey, man, you put on weight since the last time I saw you. Life's good, as well as should be. Good to see you. Talk to you again soon.